In Memphis, inside a large old church, strange things began to happen. At first, most people thought it was just kids playing pranks, food disappearing, little messes, harmless annoyances. But one staff member, Sam Drash, started noticing more than just jokes. And what he eventually uncovered would change everything. And to help with the long hours, he kept a large bowl of mixed nuts by his side. He liked snacking. It helped him focus. But one February morning, he arrived to find his bowl completely empty. He was sure he'd filled it the night before. Annoyed, Sam assumed someone had come in and eaten them. Shrugging it off, he headed to the kitchen to grab more. There, he greeted the church's cook and walked to the pantry. But the container of nuts was gone, and not just that. Many other snacks were missing too. He turned to the cook and asked if there had been an event the night before. The cook stopped chopping vegetables and looked up. "I'm glad someone else noticed. Food's been disappearing for a month. I don't get it." It had started small, missing crackers or fruit. But recently, entire meals had gone missing from the fridge. The cook had even placed a padlock on it to stop kids from sneaking in. And yet just last night, he locked up a whole ham, only to return this morning and find it gone. Sam followed the cook to the fridge, who opened it and pointed to the empty shelf. It was right there. The cook had already told church administrators. They said they'd look into it, but no one really knew what to make of it. Sam was frustrated, not just because he had no snacks, but because it was starting to feel like something more than mischief. Kids might sneak a candy bar or two, but an entire ham? That was different. He told the cook he'd speak to the administrators again, and maybe they'd install a new lock on the fridge. Days passed. The fridge was locked with a new system. Sam restocked his snacks. Nothing went missing. It seemed the issue had stopped. But then the cook called him back into the kitchen one morning. "Soda bottles," he said, pointing at the fridge. "They were here last night. Now they're gone." Sam frowned. "Again?" "Yes, and only a handful of people have keys. No one should be able to open this." Then the cook added something else. Someone had begun moving his personal belongings. His shoes, left neatly every night, would appear in odd places the next morning. His apron was found hanging in strange spots. No theft, just disturbance. "Who does that? What kind of person plays with someone's things without ever seeing the reaction?" he said. Sam was as baffled as the cook. He promised again to report it. But when he returned to his office, something new waited for him. A paper towel lay in the center of his desk, with handwriting scribbled across it, frantic, uneven letters. It referenced something terrifying. A recent murder case. A 15-year-old girl named Leslie Gatis abducted and killed not far from the church. It had made headlines across Memphis. But the note implied that something in the church attic would change everything about that case. Sam froze. Was this a sick joke? A prank gone too far? Were the same kids who'd been sneaking snacks now writing messages about murder? Still, a small part of him hesitated. What if it wasn't a joke? If there was even a chance the attic held a clue about the girl's death, he had to act. So he called the police. They arrived quickly, read the note, and thoroughly searched the attic and the rest of the church. Nothing. No signs of anything connected to the case, they said. Probably a prank. Still, Sam couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The notes were too strange, the thefts too persistent. Over the next few weeks, it got worse. More food went missing, despite multiple lock changes. More notes appeared, not just on Sam's desk, but on desks of other staff. Most people shrugged it off. Just a prankster. But Sam wasn't convinced. It wasn't funny. It wasn't even really attention-seeking. It felt like someone was trying to communicate something. Then the final straw. One Sunday, Sam and his family sat in the church. His son reached for a Bible in the pew and opened it. A paper towel slipped out. Another note, another mention of Leslie. Now children were reading these. That crossed a line. On March 17th, Sam had had enough. He went to the maintenance crew and asked for help. He wanted a stakeout. Something was wrong in this church. That night, Sam and the crew hid inside after hours, scattered in key spots throughout the building. The halls were dark. The church was silent. Hours passed, nothing. Then, one bored crew member stood up, stretched, and wandered the halls. He peeked into rooms, all empty, until a light turned on in the kitchen. He froze, heart racing. Had they finally caught whoever was behind this? He rushed toward the kitchen and stepped inside, and what he saw made him stop cold. For months, everyone had assumed Leslie Gatis was dead. She wasn't. She had been kidnapped, yes, but not killed. She was being held in the church attic by her abductor, Ernest Stubblefield. a 42-year-old man who had taken her in the middle of the night. He'd been hiding her for 119 days in a secret crawl space in the attic, a space so concealed that even the police had missed it during their earlier search. Ernest kept her under constant surveillance, threatening her with a knife, convincing her he planned to ask for ransom. But Leslie knew that day would never come. She realized that if she didn't save herself, no one would. So she tried to send signals. When they came down to the kitchen at night to steal food, she would take large amounts, enough to make someone wonder. She moved the cook's belongings. She wrote frantic notes and left them on desks, hoping someone would connect the dots. And someone did. Sam. The night of the stakeout, Leslie saw the maintenance worker enter the kitchen. Ernest was behind her. Without hesitation, she ran. She leapt into the worker's arms, begging him not to let go. Ernest fled. He was later caught and arrested. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison for kidnapping. As for Leslie, she survived. She grew up, became a lawyer, and eventually served on the board for the Commission on Missing and Exploited Children. Thanks to her courage and Sam's refusal to ignore the signs, she got her life back.